boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. This is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things ready through a common sense lens. And so what is going to end up being another massive, costly delay for Rockstar Games, of course, and which has already cost them even more money. If you hadn't heard, GTA 6 has now been delayed once again, boys and girls, for some time to polish things. And if you've been around this channel for any length of time at all, boys and girls, especially over the last few years, you might have heard me mention one of our favorite little friends out there, Jim Bone, who has been a guy that worked in the video game industry for a very long time. And this guy out there let us know some information about. Now, essentially, it wasn't exactly inside sources, but he knew people that kind of were in the process of the development of this game. And he didn't say anything specifically about going, oh, well, they interjected identity politics or none of this nonsense. What he told us was that specifically that they were being quiet about the game. The developers surrounding it normally are bragging about a game when they're getting ready to get it finished limb. They get ready to get so excited about things. But he said that they were quietly mum, and if anything, were worried about how the fan reaction would be to the game. Now, that was several years ago, and every single delay we've had has lined up with that. But of course, the assumption by many fans, and I think it's fair to say, considering the history of AAA gaming over the last few years and Rockstar's own virtue signaling out there, that this was going to be another one of those games filled with identity politics and a bunch of the other kind of nonsense and garbage promoting the spirit of the age that we have seen infect and destroy so many very successful video game franchises and companies out there. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it feels like Rockstar may be in doing exactly that. Because boys and girls, as you can see here from the headline, GTA 6 delayed again. Rockstar pushes launch to November of 2026, a full year away now, as Take-Two stock plummets. Yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the owner of this game out there is already facing massive backlash. So despite the estimated billions of dollars in lost revenue from already delaying this game a couple of times, now we're seeing their stock take a major hit because their own investors aren't happy about the fact that this game has now been delayed again. But if the rumors end up being true, if the speculation ends up being true about what they're doing behind the scenes, this might be the only thing that will save the GTA franchise from going the exact same way that its copycat, the Saints Row franchise and reboot, went. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we all saw how that ended. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all the juicy details from Marvin Montero, or from thatparkplace.com, about the whole situation. And of course, remind you of some wonderful history about how long everybody has been waiting on this game to come out. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,300. We're inching our way towards 24. I think we're sitting at like 2,385 and on our journey to 100,000. And I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you think about all this. Does it surprise you at all that GTA 6 has now been delayed again? Do you believe it might be because this game was filled with a bunch of activist messaging out there that they're trying to now remove? Or do you think there was something else behind the scenes that was going on with after this game being in development for almost over 10 years at this point, that for some reason it is still not ready to go? What other reasons could you possibly come up with as to why this game would be so massively delayed once again? Let us know what you think about it in the comment section down below, because unlike in AAA gaming studios, all opinions are actually welcome down there. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel, check out the links as well. All right, boys and girls, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Marvin Montanaro. And just to start off things with fun, as a friendly reminder to everyone out there from our friends over at Bounty Ninja Comics, there are children playing Fortnite right now that were born after GTA's online release, October 1st, 2013, boys and girls. Yeah, it's been that long. Grand Theft Auto 6, the most anticipated video game release in over a decade, has officially been delayed again. Rockstar Games and its parent company, Take-Two Interactive, announced Thursday that the release of GTA 6 has been delayed to November 19th, 2026, making it yet another setback for a franchise that hasn't seen a mainline entry since 2013, boys and girls. And don't get me started about how much that lines up with the fact that that's when Yahoo bought Tumblr in 2013. That's a story for another day out there, boys and girls. But boy, it's a fun one if I ever get a chance to get to it out there. Because, yeah, I got a whole argument as to why this is all Yahoo's fault. According to CNBC, Take-Two shares fell 7% in after-hours trading following the announcement. You're talking literally 7%. Doesn't sound like a lot. When you've got a company that's taught 1.9.6 billion in revenue, right? You're talking tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in value this company lost by delaying their game. But having a giant, massive flop because of inclusion and equity, like we saw with Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, Concord, and so many others over the last few years. How'd that work out for the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game again? All of that kind of fun stuff. Well, that could end Rockstar as a studio because don't believe me? How'd that work? How's that working out for Square Enix right now? Ubisoft, anyone? So yeah, needless to say, things are bad. There's a substantial improvement over the last year's losses during the same period, but investors were clearly hoping that Grand Theft Auto 6 would arrive sooner to bolster 2025 results, and guess what? That ain't happening. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick tried to keep enthusiasm alive, saying the team remains excited and confident that they'll deliver an unrivaled blockbuster entertainment experience. Well, let's just jump right over here to their statement. It's from Rockstar Games. Hi, everyone. Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. So I guess there's an argument to be made that maybe they've seen all of the broken and buggy messes that have come out over the last few years, and they're terrified their game might not do that, or their game might do that. But at the end of the day, like, that's something that you should know before beta testing, right? Not everybody should be Ubisoft and Star Wars Outlaws and release a broken and buggy mess, when clearly even your previews showed that it was a broken and buggy mess. Now, we haven't seen any of that from GTA yet, but we also haven't seen any actual gameplay from the game either. So we'll see what happens, but more often than not, we'd imagine this is to purge some things. In other words, another year's wait for polish. The delay announcement was part of Take-Two's earnings report, which, of course, also raised the company's annual bookings forecast between 6.38 and 6.48 billion, with Zelnick claiming expectations record levels of net bookings. Essentially, that's a corporate speak for they expect things to go really, really well because we're going to release the game next year. This isn't the first time Grand Theft Auto 6 has faced a timeline shuffle. The title was initially expected in fall of 2025, i.e. right now. Then delayed to May of 2026. We saw how that worked out. And now after this latest update, pushed all the way to November 2026. The Hollywood Reporter previously estimated the early delay alone could cost the gaming industry $2.7 billion in lost market value. So let's say all the rumors are true. Right? That Rockstar did decide to go woke with GTA 6. So just the delay alone, just the whole fact that the gaming industry overall as a whole got in bed with the spirit of the age, cost them almost $3 billion in market value. Explain to me how none of them will ever change and this will go on forever again. The extended gap since Grand Theft Auto 5 release back in 2013 has already made the wait historic. Rockstar's most recent trailer in May drew over 475 million views, breaking all previous records. But many fans, the excitement has now given way to anxiety. Among the fan base, the news that GTA 6 has been delayed rekindled a long-running debate. Is GTA 6 being overhauled not just for quality, but for ideology? That Park Place has covered these growing concerns in the past. Many players worry that Rockstar's internal changes, from the departure of writer Dan Houser in 2020 to senior creative Michael Unsworth leaving in 2023, signal a studio that may be drifting away from its sharp satirical edge. And it's not just that, right? Everybody automatically worries when you see a game that's primarily been a male protagonist franchise for literal decades, in this case out there, all of a sudden to switch things up. And in our first trailer, it seemed like our main protagonist was going to be the female. Now, given some of the later trailers have been a little bit more balanced with all of that kind of stuff, but their first trailer, the one they wanted to show to the world to make you understand this is your first glimpse of GTA 6, was heavily laden on the female protagonist. Now, is that in itself a problem? No. But as history has taught us, that's a red flag, and it's a red flag that is normally followed with things like Star Wars Outlaws. Okay? So one of those situations where this is why automatically a lot of the fans got worried. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima, right? We saw how all of that worked out we saw how all that worked out with Ghost of Yatai and the sequel, right? Same thing, bunch of red flags. What ended up happening? Even IGN still had to say that the game was boring at best. Okay, so we know where all of this stuff leads. Fans have these reasons to be concerned because the gaming industry has taught us to be like this, because this is what they've given us every single time. And guess what? We're not stupid. And Rockstar has a history of this kind of thing. The company's expanded and enhanced version of Grand Theft Auto 5 famously censored certain NPCs, signs, and dialogue after Hauser's exit, allegedly to align with new corporate sensitivity initiatives. Yay! That's exactly what we need about a game where you can where you can bang hookers, kill them, and get your money back. Yeah, that's exactly what Grand Theft Auto needs. Internal LinkedIn data later revealed that the dozens of Rockstar staff completed an unconscious bias and diversity, inclusion, and belonging training courses. Yay. Explain to me how Rockstar hasn't been infected with the woke cult? Yeah. The fear, as we previously reported, is that Rockstar might be trading its equal opportunity satire for sanitized social messaging. Many gamers noticed a subtle shift between the game's two major trailers. While the first trailer heavily on Lucia, the franchise's first theme, the latest footage centered much more on Jason, the male protagonist. I wonder if it was because of fan reaction online. The speculation might not be unfounded. A number of major franchises, Last of Us Part 2, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, have all done this exact same thing. That's why the fans expect this. That's why we react the way we do. You gotta wait till the game comes out. Wait till you see the movie. Why? They've told us that if this is their marketing, this is what we get afterwards. So why would we expect anything different? Why would we go and waste $70, $80, $120 of our hard-earned money to do something that we expect to be a disastrous dumpster fire? Because the gaming industry has told us if they do these things to games, if they do these things to IPs and franchises, the game's going to suck. So, okay. Every postponement risks eroding goodwill. 12 years after the last entry, even diehard fans are starting to ask if the wait will be worth it, or if the world's most infamous world open game is about to lose its identity. Exactly. For now, gamers can only circle November 19th, 2026 on their calendars again, and hope Rockstar hasn't forgotten what made Grand Theft Auto a cultural phenomenon in the first place. And it's not all lost, right? Rupert Humphreys is still there. He's one of the writers behind Red Dead Redemption 2, which I didn't finish it. I like the first one a lot more. I can't say for any particular reason as to why I didn't finish it, but I just didn't. It didn't engage me as much as what the original did. And GTA 5, which obviously was a blast, and I loved that game. So at the end of the day, I don't know. But I honestly think my speculation, my assessment based on everything we've heard is that's exactly what they're doing, right? They're scrubbing. Rockstar, based on their own internal training that they made their employees go through, got infested by the spirit of the age. They decided to walk down the path of diversity, inclusion, and equity. And fortunately enough, it sounds like for Rockstar and for all of us GTA fans out there, they realized the mistake they had made by learning and watching what happened to absolutely everybody else that done this over the last few years. Because they have invested billions of dollars into this game. This is a game that's been in development for over 10 years. By the time it comes out, it'll be 13 years. 13 years since the last one's come out. They can't risk this failing. And so it turns out, once again, for what we will end up hearing about all of the Rockstar employees who will, after this game gets launched, end up having massive layoffs and screaming and crying and whining about the fact that Rockstar made them pull all of the gay stuff out of the game. We'll find out. We'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Why? Because it happened with Pixar. It happened with all of these studios. Because these people are absolute narcissistic, psychopathic nut jobs. And they believe the world is owed to them. They believe everything should be handed to them. They believe they deserved to work for Rockstar. They believe they deserved to push their messaging inside of GTA 6. And they're going to find out real quick that the world doesn't put up with their BS and it doesn't capitulate to their ideology. Because go woke, go broke exists for a reason. And the AAA gaming industry has lost tens of billions of dollars over just the last few years of running and trying to chase this modern audience that doesn't exist. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, GTA 6's delay is just the latest evidence of at least one company has learned its lesson. So Rockstar, I hope this delay is for the exact reasons we all think it is. Because if it's for anything else than purging this garbage from your game, and this game still has even the hint of it in there, you are going to be in for a massive, disastrous dumpster fire of a disappointment with GTA 6. But fortunately enough for all of us out there, they may have danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, but they have figured it out that that dancing partner doesn't pay the bills and that fans decide what succeeds and what fails. So let's hope for all of the Grand Theft Auto fans out there, 6 is exactly what we're hoping for. If not, well, you saw what happened to Ubisoft, didn't you, Rockstar?
A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.